Property, if you think about it as a whole, really comes off the back of supply and demand. Supply in terms of developed properties, the properties that are supplied to the market, and that also includes listing of second-hand properties. But then there's also the demand, the people coming into that area. So that's all well and good. People can talk about supply and demand, but really supply and demand is only going to be out of whack and push the value of properties up if that demand can afford to buy the property. So that's one thing that Sydney's really grappled with. There's plenty of demand in a down market, but people just can't afford to buy a property. So if people can't afford to buy the property, they're not physically going to be able to buy it. And that's what's happened with a lot of parts in Sydney that I've seen, because people have stretched themselves so much, they just can't go any further. So you've got to have cashed up demand, basically. You've got to have people that do have the money to buy it. And you'll see suburbs that have gone into transitions where they've gone from medium price suburbs to now really affluent, high price suburbs. And it's because they've transitioned, the people coming into that area have now got more money. So the demand has been the right type of demand. The same with interstate buyers. I'll talk about Queensland, like people coming up from Sydney and Melbourne, they think Queensland property is cheap. So yes, we've got demand, but we've also got demand that has money. It's all well and good having demand from, say, Brisbane buyers coming up, to Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, and buying property, but they're limited to, Brisbane properties and the value of Brisbane properties. Whereas Sydney and Melbourne, properties there are normally double what they are, or, a fairly high premium what they are in Queensland. So you've got cashed up demand, and that's just going to push the price up, because people from Sydney go, wow, property's cheap on the Gold Coast. Wow, property's cheap in Brisbane. This property for $600,000, but let's offer them $600,000, and the property might only be worth $550,000. And people in Brisbane are going, oh, this guy's an idiot, he's just paid $600,000. And then another buyer comes up and the agent says, that one just sold for $600,000. The market's booming. This one's now $610,000. So then this guy goes, oh, $610,000, that's cheap. That same house in Melbourne, that same house in Sydney, that'd be $1 million. So this is only $600,000, and it's getting $500 a week. Like my $1 million house in Sydney, that's getting $500 a week as well. So it's like, oh, this is a great deal. And that's how the market gets pushed up.